Hi friends, it's Miss K and Mr. K here. It is a Sunday afternoon when we are recording this video. We are working on planting our herbs that I showed you in our last video. So Mr. K has already planted a lot of our herbs, and herbs don't need a whole lot of space to grow, so we're able to use these little pots. But here is our oregano. We put a little extra dirt in the bottom. We went ahead and broke up the bottoms of the plant. That way that the roots are able to soak up even more water if they're broken up a little bit. It helps the water flow through it a little bit better. So we'll watch Mr. K do it here. So you can see that he's breaking up the bottom of the roots just so that there's some more space for them to be able to soak up water. And then we spray them with water. That way they get nice and set in there because water is one of the things that a plant needs to survive. So we have our oregano, our rosemary, our thyme, and Mr. K is working on some basil. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to keep these inside. We're going to keep these in a windowsill in our house. And when we want to cook with some of these herbs, then we are just going to come, and when they're ready, we'll take some of these herbs off of the plant and we'll be able to use them right away in our kitchen. So we're going to finish up with planting these herbs and getting them all set up, and then we're going to plant our pepper plants in a planter on our deck. And so we'll show you how we're going to do that too. Okay. All right, friends, it is time for us to plant our peppers. So I have a little planter right here on the edge of my deck, and Mr. K helped me fill it with some garden soil that already has some fertilizers and some things that'll give nutrients to the plants to help it grow. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water to this soil to make it nice and damp so that it is ready for our pepper plants. And so we are going to plant the sweet pepper plant first. And so I'm going to use my little shovel, and I'm going to dig a little hole right here on this side. I'm going to take all these out. I'm going to use these to actually mark my plant so that I remember what it is. I'm going to take it out of the plastic container that it's in, and you can actually already see the roots growing. So let me show you the roots of this pepper plant that you can see all throughout the bottom. So just like we did when Mr. K was planting the herbs, we're going to break up the bottom so that we can help this plant soak in as much water as it can and bring it up the stems. We're going to put it down into the hole, and we're going to cover it up. And then I'm going to mark next to it that it's a sweet banana pepper plant right there. Okay, now on the other side over here, I'm going to dig a hole, and this plant's a little bit bigger, so my hole is going to be a little deeper. Okay, take it out the same way. Now you want to be really careful because you don't want to rip the stem out. So you might have to play around with it just a little bit to get the whole thing out. Okay, and then you break up the roots on the bottom just a little bit so that it can soak up that water. Drop it down in your hole and cover it back up again. So now I have my 2 pepper plants. I'm going to mark this one too. So these are going to be red peppers. That's exciting. Maybe I can use them to make some fajitas. And I'm going to add a little bit more water to the top. And I'm going to keep watering them when they need it, when the soil looks dry, so that they'll have everything that they need to survive. And so these plants are supposed to be in full sunlight. That means that it needs to be in the sun all day. So I couldn't really put it up next to like one of the walls of my house, because then the house would cast a shadow and it wouldn't have sunlight all day. So I'm putting it out as far away from my house as I can right here on the deck so that it can get the most sunlight during the day. So Mr. K is going to help me, and he's going to bring the camera over so that you can see into the planter, so you can see what our pepper plants look like. And I will keep you updated if our plants start to grow. It's going to be a little while before we start to see any peppers coming from this plant, but that's okay. I will let you know anything that we see. Have a great day, friends. See you soon.